Assalamualaikum and hi, and welcome back to my presentations. In this presentation, I would like to talk about biographical pattern for informative speech. In these presentations, I want to talk about a short biography about Albert Einstein. So, Albert Einstein was a physicist who developed the general theory of relativity. He is considered one of the most influential scientists of the 20th century. Albert Einstein was a German mathematician and physicist who developed the special and general theories of relativity. In 1921, he won the Nobel Prize for Physics for his explanation of the photoelectric effect. In the following decade, he immigrated to the US after being targeted by the German Nazi Party. His work also had a major impact on the development of atomic energy. In his later years, Einstein focused on unified field theory. With his passion for inquiry, Einstein is generally considered the most influential physicist of the 20th century. Einstein was born on March 14, 1879 in Württemberg, Germany. Einstein grew up in a secular Jewish family. His father, Hermann Einstein, was a salesman and engineer who, with his brother, founded Elektrotechnische Fabrik J. Einstein and Ch., a Munich-based company that mass-produced electric equipment. Einstein's mother, the former bowling coach, ran the family household. Einstein had one sister, Major, born 2 years after him. Einstein attended elementary school at the Luitpold Gymnasium in Munich. However, he felt alienated there and struggled with the institution's rigid pedagogical style. He also had what were considered speech challenge, though he developed a passion for classical music and playing the violin, which would stay with him into his later years. Most significantly, Einstein's youth was marked by deep inquisitiveness and inquiry. Towards the end of the 1880s, Max Talmud, a Polish medical student who sometimes dined with the Einstein family, became an informal tutor to young Einstein. Talmud was introduced his pupil to a children's science text that inspired Einstein to dream about the nature of light. Thus, during his teens, Einstein penned what would be seen as his major paper, the investigation of the state of ether in magnetic fields. Hermann Einstein relocated the family to Milan, in Italy, in the mid-1890s after his business lost out on a major contract. Einstein was left at the relative's boarding house in Munich to complete his schooling at the Luitpold Gymnasium. Faced with military duty when he turned of age, Einstein allegedly withdrew from classes, using a doctor's note to excuse himself and claimed nervous exhaustion. With their son rejoining them in Italy, his parents understood Einstein's perspective about were concerned about his future prospect as a school dropout and draft dodger. Einstein was eventually able to gain admission to the Swiss Federal Institute of Technology in Zurich, specifically due to his superb mathematics and physics scores on the entrance exam. He was still required to complete his pre-university education first, and thus attend a high school in Airil, Switzerland, helmed by George Winteler. Einstein lived with her schoolmaster's family and fell in love with Winteler's daughter, Mary. Einstein later renounced his German citizenship and became a Swiss citizen at the dawn of the new century. After graduating, Einstein faced major challenge in terms of finding academic positions, having aliened some professors over not attending class more regularly in lieu of studying independently. Einstein eventually found steady work in 1902 after receiving a referral for a clerk position in a Swiss patent office. While working at the patent office, Einstein had the time to further explore ideas that had taken hold during his studies at the Swiss Federal Institute of Technology, and thus cemented his theorems on what would be known as the principles of relativity. In 1905, seen by many as a miracle year for the theorist, Einstein had 4 papers published in the Annalen der Physik, one of the best-known physics journals of the era. 2 focused on the photoelectric effect and Brownian motion. The 2 others, which outline E equal mc squared and the special theory of relativity, were defining for Einstein's career and the course of the study of physics. Einstein married Mileva Mary on 6 January 1903. While attending school in Zurich, Einstein married a Serbian physics student. Einstein continued to grow closer to Mary, but his parents were strongly against the relationship due to her ethnic background. Nonetheless, Einstein continued to see her, with the 2 developing correspondence via letter in which he expressed many of his scientific ideas. Einstein's father passed away in 1902 and the couple married shortly thereafter. The same year, the couple had a daughter, Lisa, who might have been later raised by married relatives or given up for adoption. Her ultimate fate and whereabouts remain a mystery. The couple had 2 sons, Hans Albert Einstein, who became a well-known hydraulic engineer, and Edward Tate Einstein was diagnosed with schizophrenia as a young man. The Einsteins' marriage will not be a happy one, with the 2 divorcing in 1919 and Mary having an emotional breakdown in connection to the split. Einstein, as a part of settlement, agreed to give Mary back any fund he might receive from possibly winning the Nobel Prize in the future. So, as a physicist, Einstein had many discoveries, but he is perhaps best known for his theory of relativity and the equation E equal mc squared, which foreshadowed the development of atomic power and the atomic bomb. So that's all for my presentation about Albert Einstein. Hope you learn something from it, and thank you for listening, and bye bye. Assalamualaikum.